In my last post, I had said that today I'll share my first hospitalization experience, but I'm extremely sorry I'm unable to finish it. At present, I'm severely depressed and don't really have the energy to get out of the bed, let alone make a video. So I thought of making a short video sharing my present condition. Welcome to my channel BipolarIITian, and today I'll share why I feel my life is being controlled by this disorder. In my last video, I had shared that I was going through a manic episode which lasted nearly a month. I was ecstatic, energetic, impulsive, humming songs, getting several creative ideas and concepts, and didn't need sleep. I was also paranoid towards the end, but didn't quite realize that depression would hit so hard in a matter of hours from being manic. Its onset would always be sudden, but during mania, it doesn't really cross my mind that I will soon go into major depression, which is even more frightening, and there is absolutely nothing that I can do to avoid it, because the reality being at that point of time is like depression and me, like seriously, I am so happy, my life can never get more perfect. How on earth can I go into depression? But finally, what was inevitable happened. On 9th March, I was attending a katha, and during that time I was zoning out a lot, staring blankly at emptiness and couldn't concentrate at all. At that point, I couldn't comprehend why I was feeling like that. After coming home, I was trying to study but had a similar experience. I was unable to grasp the concepts even after rewinding and listening to it multiple times. Nothing was really going inside of my head. Emotions were building up inside me. I was overwhelmed but couldn't comprehend the exact reason behind it. But almost involuntarily, I broke down and cried for nearly an hour. Initially, I didn't understand what was happening, but then I realized that it wasn't because I couldn't understand the lecture. It was a really silly reason to cry for. It was actually because I was slowly falling into the dreaded deep dark well of nothingness known as depression. No matter how many times I visit this place, it always seems new and scarier than last time. Since that day, time and again, I have had uncontrollable outbursts for no apparent reason. During depression, I tend to unwillingly overthink and ruminate about the past, how it was my childhood dream to become a civil servant after seeing my father working as an IRS officer. I wanted to be like him, so I prepared for UPSC starting from second year of college. But then gradually I fell in love with my subject biotechnology and wanted to work as a researcher. At that time I wanted to do PhD from Germany, so I even took up an extra language course on German. But that was when I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, and going abroad was totally out of question. I was advised to stay with my parents in India under constant supervision. As there is not much scope of biotech in India, I had to sacrifice my love for biotech and again tried to focus on UPSC. For preparation, I went to Delhi immediately after my post-graduation in 2017. I was relatively stable then, but after a few months, I was again so severely depressed that I couldn't attend classes. I used to sleep all day, hardly eating anything, doing the bare minimum to survive. I even stopped picking up my parents' call because I didn't even have the energy to talk. Then one day, without informing me, my parents came to Delhi, packed my bags, and took me home in the middle of the course. Then after coming back to Kolkata and consulting with my psychiatrist, gradually I became stable. After a few months, I again tried my luck for UPSC, but the same thing happened again. Actually, the syllabus is so vast that its preparation requires a lot of consistent hard work. I realized that stress acts as my trigger, and the rigorous preparation was triggering depression every time. Then my psychiatrist and my father strongly advised me to not pursue it because even if I get selected, I won't be able to continue with the service given the job profile. It doesn't suit my reserved personality. I tried thrice and every time I failed to complete it. So again I had to sacrifice my childhood dream because of my illness. It had been a while since my post-graduation. The only thing missing was a job. During this period, I was on regular medication and therapy, learning new coping techniques. My mother advised me to sit for other government exams instead of sitting at home, thinking that work will improve my condition. I did go through minor ups and downs, but eventually I managed to get into a PSU bank as assistant manager with only a week's preparation. In fact, during the 3 hours mains exam, my hands started to tremble. I was about to leave the test in between, but I thought if I do so, then all my efforts will go into vain and I have to wait for another year. I decided to take control of the situation, did mindful breathing, stabilized myself, and resumed answering. My 10 minutes were wasted where each second matters. I am a socially anxious person and scared of public speaking, but miraculously during my job interview, I wasn't scared at all and landed the job. After a few days, I realized I was actually hypomanic during my interview, and that helped in removing my fear. I was not that satisfied with the job because I thought that I wasn't doing justice to my education. Even my colleagues and seniors at work always asked me the same question. You are an IITian, what are you doing in this bank? It's not meant for you. But it was my compulsion and only I knew what I went through to reach there. There was a time when people who knew about my condition and had seen me and my parents struggling talked behind my back that my life was over and that I could never get a job. They were actually shocked when they heard that I was working. But once in a while I would relapse due to stress at my workplace and poor work-life balance. Over the 2.5 years of my job, I was manic, depressed, psychotic, and was frequently dissociating due to work pressure and toxic work environment. I was also frequently getting ill physically. Not many people know about this, but when someone is extremely distressed, sometimes mental illness manifests as physical symptoms. I got severely depressed and was suicidal to the extent that I had planned when and how. I actually didn't want to die, rather, I wanted my situation to end. So I spoke to my father and he took control of the situation. He was in Kolkata then, and my mother was there with me at my place of posting in Orissa. That was the last straw. I resigned with immediate effect with my parents' and husband's support. Isn't it ironic that the illness which helped in securing the job also took it away from me? After quitting that job, I started working with my husband and also opened a small manufacturing unit. I am much more stable now. During my last session with my psychiatrist, he told me that I need to work on my career. I deserve better than this and professorship will be a good career option for me. He was right. I thought that I am stable for quite some time now and can start preparing for PhD, which was my initial dream. Since it's been a while, I am not in touch with my subject, so I took up a course to brush up. But now I am depressed again, and for the last 1 week I couldn't watch any lectures and many classes have piled up. My depression usually lasts for a longer time, like 2 to 3 months, and this time if it lasts that long, then I am doomed. The exam is in June and I don't really know what to do as to how to manage my depression. My father is telling me to take it slow given my condition, but I am not bothered about that. I know that I'll clear the exam maybe by the end of this year, if not in June, but what I am really concerned about is how will I complete the 5-year PhD curriculum. It usually has a huge workload and can also be frustrating for healthy people sometimes. And even if I manage to complete PhD, will I be able to carry on my job as a professor for long? Do I have to sacrifice again? Because I know that bipolar disorder is now a part of my life and I will face these challenges frequently, but I don't always know how to manage them, especially when I am low on energy to do basic activities or when I am out of touch with reality or dissociate. I feel that this crippling disorder is controlling my life and my career. Sorry, I'm getting a bit emotional right now. I'm feeling so helpless, hopeless, and defeated. I feel that my disorder is always getting the upper hand. I'm getting up every single time I fall down, but for how long? For how many more times? Getting up is hard, especially when you know for sure that you are definitely going to fall again. No matter how many times I am trying, my illness is not letting me reach my destination. It always comes in between and crushes my confidence over and over again. It makes me feel like a failure. I know that I could have been in a much better place had I not suffered from this. Sometimes I wonder why I am constantly trying even after knowing about my condition. Even after knowing that me being successfully able to hold a job for a long period of time is close to zero. Working conditions in India are not flexible enough or suited for people like me, but still I'm constantly striving because I want to prove to myself that I am not a failure, that I can be successful, that I can be a contributing member of society, that I have not wasted a seat in IIT, and most importantly, I don't want my disorder to take control of my life, and that I am much more than my mental illness, and that I don't want this disorder to define me. In my upcoming video, I'll share the incident of my first ever hospitalization, after which I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. Thank you, that's all for today, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye, take care, and subscribe to my channel for more such educational videos. Please suggest any topic related to mental health on which you would like me to make a video on. Thank you.